Hello, everyone, and welcome again to your boy, the MOWAKing, on the MOWAKing Chronicles. First thing I say is I am back. This is the first episode we've had in a while since mine and Kristin's episode, and I'm so glad to be back and so glad to be here with you guys again as we continue to share on our journey. Today's episode is going to be a solo episode talking about where I've been in the last few months, some things that has happened. So buckle up and let's get forward to talking about today's episode. I know it's been a while. Since I've been here, and I'm missed everyone, really. I'm glad to be back and miss people. And we had a little bit of a break. The last time that we talked is I had my wife, Kristin, and we talked about our life and us being parents, and that was a really interesting episode. I was really glad to get to make that with her. It was fun to do that, so I was really excited about that. Hopefully soon that there will be a part 2 to that episode, kind of talking about some future plans that we got regarding another baby, trying to go through the fertility stuff. So those are the things that we want to share with you, that we want y'all to be a part of that journey with us. So life. We have updates on life. So I think the last time that we had talked about us getting ready to go on a cruise, preparing for spring break, all kind of things. So let's start with the cruise. Mardi Gras break came. We traveled down to Orlando. Long drive, by the way. Just throwing that out there, guys. From Mobile to Orlando is about a 10-hour drive. And when you're traveling with a big group of people, a 10-hour drive turned into almost a 13-hour drive. But, again, we talk about that's part of the journey. Sometimes we get a little frustrated that everybody's got to stop at one time to pee or to have a snack. And then when traveling with Grant Bird, the Duke, it's always a challenge there because little bladders don't hold that well. So we traveled down to Orlando. Stayed at a beautiful Airbnb that was not too far, like inside the city part, and it was awesome. It was a good experience just because it was me, Kristin, Grant, my mom, my dad, my aunt, and Kristin's mom, and so we really had a good time. So we actually got on the boat on a Saturday, but we wound up getting down there like 3 days before, and we done a few things in Orlando. One of the things was we went to do SeaWorld. SeaWorld, if you guys haven't been to SeaWorld, you need to experience at least once in your life. It is an amazing park. Like, to see different sea creatures and animals, and then the shows that they have, such as the dolphin show, the walrus show, and the whale show. If you guys have been following my wife, Kristin, on TikTok or any kind of social media, you've seen that a video that she posted us at the whale show. It's been a long day. Let me say a little bit of backstory about that. That had been a long day. We had a lot of fun, and Grant was tired and wasn't feeling hardly nothing. He was ready to go home. So we was watching the show, and you'll see on the video that's posted, and I will share that video. But anyhow, you'll see the video that he was just sitting there drinking his juice. And Kristin and I could see that the whales were splashing other people. And we thought we were high enough up, but we thought, yeah, we might get this one. Anyhow, whale come to our direction and pow, just big splash of his tail. Water come up and soaked us. And Grant was not happy. He was not happy. He boo-hoo cried there. So Kristin just died off laughing. It was fun. That was really fun. And to see other creatures. My mom and dad had never been to SeaWorld before, and so that was a good experience for me as well as my aunt. Not, just enjoying family time, and I think that's what really it was about. SeaWorld, like I said, had a bunch of little small things, and it's just being a huge theme park to get to touch stingrays and, like I said, seeing dolphins and just an up close look at, sea creatures we don't normally see. So that was fun. Get through SeaWorld, go through a couple days. Bam, we get on the Carnival Mardi Gras. Huge ship. One of the largest cruise ships that Kristin and I had ever been on. Normally, we had been traveling out of New Orleans on a few of the Carnival ships, the Liberty, the Valor, but the Mardi Gras was an amazing ship, huge ship. So it just blew my mind just how many people were on that ship. And I want to bring Kristin back for another episode when we talk about just our cruise experience. With that being said, if you guys have cruise experiences, or you like cruises, you dislike cruises, or you're interested in finding out more about it, please get on the comment section, send me messages. We'll talk about them. We'll find out what's some of the best cruises. I myself have never cruised on anything besides Carnival. I heard a lot of good things about Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and some of these other cruises. So if you guys have been on these cruise ships, give me a shout out. So back to the cruise. We're getting on the ship. We go down to 3 different places. We go to Cozumel, Mexico, which is an amazing destination. We've been to Cozumel several times. And I need to shout out Mr. Sanchos's resort. If you guys have never been to Mr. Sanchos's in Cozumel, it is an amazing little all-inclusive resort. You pay your price to get in, and you got a big, huge beach area, a lot of covered places. They got, 3 or 4 pools, and then all the food and drink that you guys would ever want to eat or drink down there. Plus, there's different little excursions that you just have to purchase extra, such as like parasailing, snorkeling, scuba diving. They had a whole bunch of little things, but then they just had such an amazing beach access. And right out into the beach area too, they had like a inflatable park where several inflatables were placed on the water, and that was pretty cool. We've done that one before. We didn't do it this past time, but we have done that before. So highly, highly, highly recommend Mr. Sanchos's resorts. Also, I didn't need to mention that we had looked into Paradise Beach. I know one of the comments I talked with another friend of mine and said, "Oh, check out Paradise Beach." So Paradise Beach might be one of those things that we had on the bucket list, but it was definitely interesting. My mom had done been to Mr. Sanchos before, so she didn't get to go with us this particular time. But me, Kristin, Grant, and Kristin's mom got to experience it again. Bridget had never been before, so that was a definite interesting experience. So after we leave Cozumel, we go down to Costa Maya, which is part of mainland Mexico. And that was another very interesting place. It had been a while since we had went to Costa Maya. This particular time, we done a little bird apiary, kind of like a bird sanctuary, where we go around and walk around and see different birds in these little cages, and they're flying all around when you go into one of the spots, and kind of like a little greenhouse thing for birds. And man, that was really neat to see. It kind of freaked Grant out a little bit just being that close to birds, but that was all good fun. While we were there in Costa Maya, one thing I did get to see, that I saw the Royal Caribbean ship, the Icon of the Seas, which is the largest cruise ship in the world. So, and that was a massive boat. I thought our ship was big. The Mardi Gras was a huge ship, no question about it. But I could tell that the Icon beats it by a little bit, not much, but by a little bit. It was a huge ship. So hopefully one day we might try out the Icon of the Seas. Well, we done some things in Costa Maya, and then we went down to what's called Mahogany Bay, which is an island off the coast of the Honduras. And Mahogany Bay, Carnival has their own like private beach resort there that for its guests that's selling on Carnival ships, you could get down and experience like some more beach sets, kind of similar to Mr. Sancho's. It's not all inclusive. You just have to kind of get there early. And us watching different cruise reviews on the destinations, they were absolutely right, trying to get there early and get your spot picked out. If not, you're gonna have kind of a tough time. And we didn't necessarily get there early, so it was fun to see a lot of the stuff, but we didn't get to stay too long because we were just in a bad spot. And again, no fault but our own, just late getting off the boat and getting down to the beach area. Plus, we had just went to Mr. Sancho's day before that, so we were not really feeling the beach and stuff so much. We actually enjoyed more things on the ship. There's so much to do on the Carnival ship. Like, it's on the top deck, they had water slides and a big kiddie playing area where Grant could run around and play in the water. He and I had a good time. I tried out a couple of the slides. Kristin chickened out on me, but there's some bad slides on there. They were definitely a thrill ride for sure. Also, they had just some of the best food. I think everybody talks about food on cruise ships, but the food on the Mardi Gras was really, really good. Just, I would say my only critique at being on other Carnival ships. So one of the staple Carnival restaurants on there is the Guy's Burger Joint. Guy Fieri's put his name into these burgers. And they some of the best burgers you can eat. Burgers, fries. But most ships we've been on, you would have the Lido deck, which is the buffet stuff. And then right out on one side of the ship, the other, on the same deck on the same deck, would be Guy's Burger. And then you would have another restaurant called Blue Iguana, which is like a taco place. Guy's Burger wasn't there on the Mardi Gras on that same deck as the Lido deck. You actually had to go up one more deck, which is not bad. It just, you expecting like, man, you just sitting down wanting to eat. You may not want everything that's on the buffet at the time, but you want a couple little things, and then you got to walk up to go get your hamburger and then walk back down to sit at your table. And like with us traveling with a pretty big group like that, it made it kind of hard just trying to find the right table. Plus, there were just so many people on the ship. But overall, amazing experience. Grant had a great time. He probably went more to they call it Camp Ocean. It's almost similar to kind of like a little daycare, but they have times where he could play just by himself and with a couple other kids in there. And then if we wanted to, we could drop him off and he could stay there for a little while, or really as long as he didn't want to come back with us. And it let us kind of go do a few things on the ship. Now, our particular cabin, we stayed in what's called the Family Harbor Suite. And I had never seen it nowhere before on any other of the Carnival ships. And this one had its own separate lounge. And guys, you traveling with kids and families, this was well worth it, if my opinion, because it had its own lounge. The lounge had a little buffet part, kind of like the Lido deck. Plus, it had like ice cream, and it had TVs and video games and consoles, so stuff for kids to do, board games. And that was just good for us because one night we just wasn't feeling a whole lot of activities, and we just all gathered around, got a little ice cream and sodas, and just sat there and played cards. And that was really fun. So cruising went, and we got off the boat and made that journey home. And traveling through Florida, we were ready to get home. After being gone 12 days, we were definitely ready to get home. So that was an amazing experience. And again, I said all that to say that cruising was definitely for us. So that was really something. So hopefully, like I said, I'm going to have a few more guests to talk about cruising. We may even do some live calls. And I'm just glad to be back here on the mic and discussing a few things with you guys and just talking about life. So what happened after we got back cruising? Well, soccer started, believe it or not. Grant got to try soccer for the first time. And that was a milestone for us because that was his first team sport. And we made it with the team there that's in Creola. And they have a really, really good program. Now, Grant being 3, of course, so his age group is kind of like for the kids that's been playing t-ball and stuff, is they'd rather be out in the field picking flowers and grasses than actually learning the game. So it kind of made a different challenge because all the kids wanted to run after the ball and kick the ball. And so we really had a lot of fun. And believe it or not, we actually got roped into helping be assistant coaches and trying to help the other kids in his age group. We didn't have many on the team. We had about 8, and we played another team that had 8 children on it. And so it was really fun. It was glad that Grant really got to make some new friends, and he made a real good friend and some of those kids that was out there. And he got to also learn about teamwork and the concepts of it and taking his turn, which Grant does really good at daycare because he's around them other children. And so then he gets out to soccer and he's trying to learn. But let's be real. It's like most 3-year-olds. Some days he wanted to go and he was feeling it and he was ready to play. And then some days we've went out there and he refused to get on the field and cried the whole time. We had a bunch of kids like that. One time we were playing one of our games and half the team quit after about halftime. They're small little quarters just trying to get the children a chance to play. And about juice break, that was it. They wasn't feeling it no more. So it was just fun. It's fun. Like, it's no real competition, no winners or losers, and we just got to experience that. So I'm going to post a few pictures and share my Facebook post, and so it was a lot. It was just a lot of things going on between that. Soccer was fun. So what else we've done? Oh, we traveled up to Monroeville, kind of like a little mini road trip. It had been a little while since I've been up to Monroeville. While we were up there, got to see Harper Lee's grave. For y'all that don't know, Harper Lee wrote the novel To Kill a Mockingbird. It was a classic book that a lot of kids learn in school, and just is a really, really good story. And it also became a very, very popular movie. And the movie was good as well, just seeing Atticus Finch. So experiencing that was a neat little kind of thing going on. So I was glad of that. I had never seen Harper Lee's grave, and going around and just seeing the city of Monroeville, and that was just a good little mini trip. I think we done that in like one day. We just picked up and rode around up there right after soccer one Saturday and just made a little road trip out of it. So hanging out with friends and getting to see stuff like that, and it's just all part of life, part of the experience. I said that to say, if you guys have some novels, books, movies that you want us to talk about, we'll definitely talk about. I'm going to try to get my friend Keith back on because he's another movie critic, and we can sit there and discuss upcoming movies that's coming. The new Superman movie is coming up real soon. And so he and I is going to try to go see that, and hopefully we can have a follow-up episode to kind of give updates on wrestling and life and really talk about the movie. So looking forward to that. Fast forward a little bit, and then, of course, we had Easter and in the midst of Lent. So being on the Mardi Gras, we actually went during Mardi Gras break, and that had a little bit of challenges because Ash Wednesday was while we were there on the ship, and it was hard for us to get our ashes. We tried to go to one of the Catholic churches in not in Costa Maya, in Mahogany Bay, but it was just difficult. They're trying to find it to make sure it wasn't in a safe place. So we wound up getting our ashes when we came back, and then started the Lenten season. And then it's an amazing time in our Christian and Catholic faith, going through Easter and Lent. And that's kind of the reason why I stepped away. I give up social media for Lent. That was kind of my breakaway to just have a little bit better relationship with God during the time of Lent. And so that was another reason why I went so long without recording an episode. And it was just a good experience for me, just finding faith and having discussions with Kristin and talking about that. And as you know, it's a lot of changes. And last year we got us a new priest at St. Teresa's. We lost the Pope. Pope Francis passed away, and we had a new Pope elected in Pope Leo. And today, July the 1st, 2025, we found out that we are finally getting our new Archbishop for the Archdiocese of Mobile. And that's really exciting because our former Bishop Thomas Rhodey, when he turns 75, church law requires him to submit his retirement, and that was last year, and it took a little while for it to get accepted, and so finally they accepted it, and now they have named Father Mark Rivatuso. He was the Bishop of St. Louis, and he's going to be the new Bishop of Mobile, Archbishop of Mobile. So that's an exciting time for us that he having a new bishop, and it's a lot of change that we're just glad to be part of that journey. And, you know, getting back to, we went through Lent and the Easter season and celebrating that. And of course, we also done the Easter eggs and talked about the meaning behind the Lenten season and going through Holy Week. And that was really important for us, going through like Holy Thursday and Good Friday and teaching Grant all of those things about our faith, you know, making sure that we don't eat meat on Fridays and that we abstain, and the reasoning why we celebrate this time. And so it was really, really good. Well, right after Easter, it was time for spring break, and we were really, really torn on whether we wanted to go to the beach or go somewhere else, and we really didn't know where or what to do. And as you know, that we talked about our Tennessee trip on the last episode, and it got ruined because I got sick and Grant got sick the week before Christmas when we were in Tennessee. So that made me got to thinking a lot about going back up there. And so I told Kristin, I said, you know what? We're going to Tennessee for spring break. And to me, that was a whole lot better time than the cruise. I love cruises. I love cruising, but we rode up there. It was just me, Kristin, and Grant this time. We invited a few people to try to come with us and celebrate vacation and spring break, but we just wasn't able to kind of link up with some friends and family to go on that trip. So we just decided to have us a family trip. And it was great. We got up to Tennessee. We stayed in this amazing cabin. It wasn't too far from the city because once Kristin really got to see the mountains, she got a little uneasy because we were traveling at night when we came up there, and cutting through some of those little twists and turns of the mountains there was not fun for her. And so we done a whole bunch of stuff up there. We went to this place called Digging Zone, which is like a small theme park. Well, I would say small. It's a pretty large theme park. It's a theme park that had a bunch of excavators, tractors, had construction equipment, and it was fun. Grant had a time we had to fight him to get him to leave because he wanted to ride everything about 7 times. It was great. They had little tractors for him to ride on. We got to get on excavators and dig holes, and he and I drove skid steers, and we rode on side-by-sides. We rode on tractors. We even drove lawnmowers around, and so he had a blast. So, like I said, Digging Zone, we had actually heard about it from friends of ours here in the community that their little boy went up there for a birthday, and I could see why. I wouldn't mind taking another trip up there. There's a lot to do in Tennessee. It's a really, really good family resort. I actually met up with my brother and his family 2 days, our first couple of days up there, and we got to eat with them. So we went to this apple orchard called Apple Valley. They had two really, really good restaurants. Tried some apple fritters and all out. It was really, really good experience. Something else we done during that evening is we went to the Dolly Parton pirate show. We've went to the pirate show before. We done it last year, but we went back again to Grant. That was the one thing that Grant had asked for on our whole trip, was he wanted to go see the pirates in the cannon. And we went to see the pirate show, and it's an amazing, amazing dinner show. We were going to try to do the Dixie Stampede, or just the Stampede, I think is what they call it now. But we just didn't really find the times that we wanted to do because we had other things that we had wanted to do, such as we went over to Gatlinburg. We went up to Ober Mountain. We rode around. We done the pirate show. We went up to Ober Mountain. To get to Ober Mountain, we were actually in Pigeon Forge. We had to drive to Gatlinburg. And then when you get into Gatlinburg, you had to park and you take the sky lift up to the mountain. And up there, they have a ice skating ring. They have sledding, and they had during the wintertime, you could actually snowboard and ski up there. But this time, it being kind of warm, they just had the ice skating rink and the mountain slide, which was really, really fun. We got to take some pictures. Also, when you first got up there, they had like a little wildlife refuge, and we got to see like native creatures to Tennessee. We got to see bears and hawks and vultures, and it was really, really nice. Spent some time up there, got some lunch, and when we got ready to come down to the sky lift, we went a little bit further over in Gatlinburg and went to the aquarium. And we just love aquariums, and Grant got to see a lot of fish, and they actually had a big play area inside the aquarium, and that wore him out till he passed out in the car. And he really, really enjoyed himself. And so last thing we did before we left was we went to Dollywood. And it had been years since I had been to Dollywood. Kristin had never been to Dollywood, but it had been since I was real little when we went to Dollywood. And again, another amazing experience. And we got to ride the Smoky Mountain Express, which is a steam-powered train, and it took you all around that part of the Smokies. And that was amazing. Like, Grant, he was a little scared of it, but at that point he was getting tired, but he was scared because the train whistle was really loud, and we had some amazing seats, and it really wasn't even too hot. I'd imagine going there during the summertime, it was definitely going to be interesting, I would say, if you sweat to death. So left Dollywood, done a few things there, and then come on home, and here we are. We're back on the grind and back going through life, going to work. We're getting sick and just having life. I said all that to say life is life. Enjoy traveling, and enjoy the things you do, which leads me to back to saying that I'm behind the mic now. Life will have us pulling, in different directions and doing things between working a full-time job, Kristin working, us raising Grant, and us getting ready to start the process of having another baby. It's important to me that we learn to just slow down, reflect, and stay grounded sometimes. That's the only reason why I started this podcast in the first place, to share life, stories, moments, and really talking about things coming up, the road ahead. So, what's the next thing that we got to talk about? So, the next few episodes, I really want to get some more guests back on. I also want to do a couple solo stuff again, and just dive into some topics to talk about. If you guys just want me to have like a 10-minute talking about the stuff going on in the political world, if you want to talk about, hey, this new movie come out, this new game come out, which consequently I am probably going to release a quick one talking about the new Death Stranding 2 game that just come out, as well as talking about the Superman movie that's coming out in a few days. And we got the 4th of July coming. So that's going to be fun. Going out with Grant and getting fireworks. And he's at that age now where we're just doing so much together, he and I. And he won't let Daddy get out of his side. So that's fun. We'll do this one. Well, I think this is about kind of to a wrapping point. I just, again, wanted to make a kind of a short episode. I'd say it's short. 30 minutes I know is a long time for you guys to listen, but I really wanted to give you guys some context of why I've been gone so much and doing the traveling stuff. Even if we just get on here and we just have a 10-minute quick talk about anything, hey, we just went and done such and such, I want to have this fun and not so much pressure on things. And that's why I like doing this. I like talking to people. I like interacting with guests. And again, I have an open platform. We can talk about whatever. I want to meet with other guests. If you guys know anybody that would want to be a good fit to talk on the show and discuss things, I'm open to it. If you guys want to be part of the show, if you're saying, you know what, I want to take a chance, I want to be on social media and podcasting and do this, sit down, let's talk and let's find out. Well, I think that's going to be about it for me today, guys. I really, again, appreciate all the support that you guys have given me throughout this podcast. And again, we're not on no really set schedule. This is just something fun that I get a chance to talk about some things with you guys. And so, I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what to do. I say it every time. Make sure you get on social media. Like, share, subscribe to MOWAKing Chronicles wherever you guys get your podcasting, Amazon, Apple Music, iHeart, wherever. Just remember to like, share, subscribe, follow me on social media, Instagram and Facebook. And as always, stay strong, stay true, and let's keep moving forward.